Hey, well, hello, class. Welcome to Understanding Vocation in a Changing World, LDRS520, online for the, summer 2019 8-week term. Summer 1, I guess it would be. I can't believe that it is already, we're 6 days into May. That's crazy to me, but it's true. My name is Jeff Boyan, and I'll be your instructor for the course this term. We're looking forward to the class. Let's see, a little bit about me. I'm not going to bore you with too many details other than to say I'm excited to be here. I worked full-time at Azusa Pacific University for about 12 and a half years. I recently left APU last summer in August to take a new job as the Associate Director for Career Strategy at the Drucker School of Management at Claremont Graduate University. Before then, I was the academic program director for a couple of undergraduate programs, oversaw the online course development for the Master of Arts in Leadership program. There in the Leadership and Organizational Psychology program, so this specific program. I helped oversee the development of the Master of Science in Organizational Psychology program and taught there for a while. So I was in the faculty full-time for several years. I've been teaching adjuncts dating back to 2011, so I actually teach for the Department of Marriage and Family Therapy as well. So interesting little fun fact I love to kind of talk about these realities is while I'm simultaneously teaching this class, vocation, I'm also teaching a career development class for the MFT program. And when I teach career development, I bring in vocation. When I teach vocation, I bring in career development. So these topics are really my favorite topics to talk about, to teach, to research, to study, to read about, and so forth. And I don't think I can do a complete job of teaching vocation if I don't talk about career development and vice versa. So you'll notice that we have a lot of vocation discussion in this class, but there's also going to be an element of career development, which is great. So this is kind of it's a packed course. You'll find there's a lot to do in this class. It's an exciting class. I really like the class. So it's eight units, okay? 8 weeks, 8 units. And we're going to talk about all sorts of things. So introduction, so we're going to introduce vocation and career development. We're going to talk about good jobs, positive psychology, success, well-being, calling, vocational and entrepreneurship, leadership, how that all connects, faith and work, faith at work, work and meaning, vocational psychology, values and motivation, and then we'll talk about how it all connects, right? So if you look into Canvas, you will notice that there are 8 modules, right? You're going to see it, it's going to be labeled Unit 1, Module 1, Week 1, all the same, okay? So in every single unit or every single module, you will see that there are some learning outcomes I want you to accomplish. There's going to be some learning activities that you will take place, some videos you'll watch and so forth, and then there will be some things that you need to do, some upcoming things and all of that, all right? So if you look in the syllabus, you will notice there are a number of required textbooks. So again, this is a very short week, but you need to get things quickly because you need to have them in hand because we're just going to hit the ground running, right? So lots of reading, lots of thinking. It's going to be a fantastic course together, all right? So you'll be required to get The Gift of Being Yourself by David Benner, one of my favorite books. Transitions by Bridges. Every Good Endeavor, Following is another just favorite book. Love that text by Tim Keller. Career Anchors by Edgar Schein. There's actually a participant workbook, and there's a text itself that gives you an assessment that has to be completed. Those have to be the 4th edition, and they have to be brand new, okay? And then Buckingham Standout 2.0 also has to be brand new as well, all right? Because you need to have new books because you need to have a code for the assessment, all right? Or you need to have space to actually fill in the content for an assessment, all right? So those are your required textbooks. There's going to be all sorts of other reading and videos to watch and things of that nature. There's some great websites and academic journals that I suggest for you to check out. Some writing resources and so forth. In this first unit, okay, you will notice that we have a discussion, we have some video responses, and then there's a discussion 3, 2, 1 wrap up. So I don't want to bore you a whole lot. You will notice that the syllabus is very detailed. Okay, so you'll have all sorts of content that you need to read through. So you really need to spend some time on the syllabus reading through that yourself, okay? So make sure that the first thing you do is open that up and read through it. You have 8 different assessments that have to be completed, okay? It's the Holland Occupational Theme, so RIASEC, Standout, which comes in Standout 2.0. There's a Harvard Business Review, some quizzes. There's a calling survey, work and meaning. There's a career development striving exercise, career anchors, and then there's the core values inventory. All right, so lots of content. I want you to read through all of this, and you'll notice kind of what's due, when it's due, and so forth. Okay, so if you get into Canvas, you'll notice that the learned activities are going to be the readings. There's some multimedia to view. There's some introductions. So what I'm looking for, even just in this simple introduction, is I want you to click on that, and you're going to then share your current job or occupation, academic background, so what's your undergraduate degree, if you have a previous master's degree, and how far along are you in the Master of Arts in Leadership program, or if you're visiting from some other program, tell us about that as well. And then answer some of these questions. How do you define what's your dream? How do you define, vocation? How do you define calling? How do you define a career development? What's your dream job? What's your previous experience or education regarding vocation, calling, career development? 2 things you hope to get out of the class, 2 questions you have about the class or these specific areas, and then 2 questions you have for the instructor on course expectations, reading assignments, and so forth, okay? So this is where I need you to really spend time digging into the syllabus, okay? Get into that syllabus and just read through so you know what's coming, all right? So that's going to be really, really important. So what you will see then, that's one example of our online discussions. If you go to the syllabus, you will notice that it says, in each module, students are required to post a thorough response to each question assigned in the specific forum. The responses will serve as a way for the course participants to engage in discussion via threaded discussions, okay? Just like if you're in class face-to-face, you'll be in class here with these discussions taking place online. Students are required to post their initial responses no later than midnight on Wednesday night of each week. Initial posts do not need to be a specific length or include a minimum word count, but they do need to thoroughly address all questions and or prompts that are included in each forum. Okay? In addition to students needing to respond with their own initial post by Wednesday, they must also engage, okay, this is really important, they must also engage in conversation with 2 other posts shared by 2 different classmates, okay? This does not count responding to a post that was made in response to your initial post, okay? So if I write something and then someone says, hey, really like what you had to say, I'm wondering more about this, and you write back, that does not count as one of your 2 required additional posts. You have to go and respond to 2 other classmates' posts. Okay, I think there's 11, maybe 12 students last time I checked in the course. So that would mean that of those 11 or 12 students, you are regularly, and make sure it's different people, every unit engaging in dialogue and conversation with them based upon what it is that they wrote, okay? And when I say engaging, I don't mean, hey, I liked what you said, that was really cool, okay, bye, have a great summer. No, I want you to actually go back and forth like we would in class. Like if you were to be in class and one of your classmates across the way said something, and it sparked something in you, and you just jumped in, you're like, yeah, I really like what you said. Well, actually, what about this? We would be in a back and forth discussion. That's part of the learning, right? This peer-to-peer learning. So we're going to take place in doing that here online, okay? And you have to then respond to those 2 classmates by the end of the specific week, okay? Students should be intentional with their responses and ask questions or make thoughtful comments that will lead to additional conversation, okay? And you can read through the rest of this as far as points and expectations and so forth, okay? Grading, this is worth, 10% of your grade, okay? So really, really important that you make sure that this is done properly, all right? So that's kind of as we jump in, that's the big thing that you've got there, right? You've got the video response, okay? So if you click on that, you'll notice that you'll watch some videos, one's from Mike Rowe. There's some questions in there, and then there's a second video, if you can get to it, from Crouch. I think it's on still. If not, don't worry about it. I know that it only works on certain browsers, okay? So I think it works on Chrome, and it works on, what's the other one? Mozilla Firefox, okay? And then I want you to respond to those questions, all right? And so post one initial post by 11:59 Wednesday, and then post 2 responses by the end of the unit, okay? So your introduction, I don't need you to engage, but these questions here, this is where I need you to engage in the discussion. So you'll see when you get into each of these assignments, you'll see specific instructions, okay? So if you go to Unit 1.321 weekly content wrap-up, it actually has a note there that says, although you are welcome to, responding to your peers is not required for this forum. Also, you will not be able to see your peers' responses until after you make your initial post, okay? So that's really important that you remember that. This is not where you need to engage in discussion. So the first unit especially, you'll respond to the introductions question. You'll respond then with no engaged discussion. And then, of course, if people want to, you're more than welcome to. You will also respond to the video questions, which is where you will engage in discussion. And then you have this 3-2-1 response, which you can specifically ask or respond to the specific questions, and you'll see exactly what that is. And then it says you don't have to engage in discussion. So one of the things that I've really tried to do in this class, in the development of the course, is be as specific as possible in the syllabus, right? In the actual online course itself, so that there are no, well, there's always going to be questions, but there are going to be as few questions as possible. Okay, so everything's very, very clear in there. All right. So you can read through the rest of the syllabus, but remember, before you respond to that introduction, which you don't need to respond to the introductions questions until the end of the week, the video response, you do need to respond to by Wednesday. Okay, so you get a couple of days to do that. But I want you to really read through the syllabus. I mean, be really specific and thoughtful in reading through that syllabus so that you can then ask questions that you have of me, all right? So, and then just go through the whole thing. Read through each of the units. You know, you see that there's a title, there's outcomes, there's activities, there's assignments. You'll notice that some of the reading responses to the actual textbooks, they're not super long and involved, but you will need to make sure that you pace yourself in doing the reading because there is quite a bit of reading in here. Okay, so this is the first video I'll post for this course. I'll always send them through announcements for this class. You always have them there. And I'm probably going to come back and maybe share another post as we get maybe further on into the first week of the term. I'm actually going to be on the road. That's the beauty of online education. It doesn't really matter where you're located. So I'll be in Philadelphia the entire week. But if you have questions, I've got email and all of that. You can just write me a note. You can send a note even through Canvas, and I'll make sure to get back to you. Another thing to really keep in mind is make sure that you are checking Canvas every day. Okay, and you're like, wait a second, but it's online, you know. So, but still, every single day, so you make sure that you you know what's going on. Okay, the last thing I want to happen is for you to not be aware of what's happening in the class and then get behind. This is going to go so quickly. One thing to remember too is though it's online, and I think a lot of times people think online equals easier, equals less work, and that's simply not the case. Okay, it's really important that you keep that in mind. When you're reading your textbooks, that does not count as actual course time, right? That's just your out of class reading, as if you were in a class, you know, face to face once a week. You wouldn't count the hours. You know, if you're in a face to face class, you know that that class is 4:45 to 9:45. And you're not reading your books through that time. So it's not out of the question to think that you could potentially have upwards of 5 hours of work in the online classroom, watching videos, having discussions, you know, responding to the questions and so forth. So please, if you have this idea in your mind that online learning is easier, faster, you know, not nearly as complicated or involved, just kind of push it out of your mind because it's just simply not the case, all right? But also know that I love this class. I developed this class. I've redeveloped this class. I've taught this class many, many times, and I love the content. I think it's so valuable to you both personally and professionally, and I might even put more of an emphasis on this personally. And I think in that, when it affects you on a personal level, it impacts you on a professional level, and it makes you a better leader, which is why I think it's a great course to be involved in the leadership program. All right. So any questions, feel free to email me. Make sure you get in and you start messing around with Canvas site so you're comfortable, you're familiar with it. Read the syllabus thoroughly. Read it really, really thoroughly, okay? I try to make that as clear and concise and thorough as possible as well. All right? Have a great first week. If I can help with anything, please don't hesitate to email, to reach out, and I'm more than happy to answer questions. Know that I'm here to support you in any way that I can, and I'm really looking forward to learning with you. Also, I'll make mention these videos are going to be crucial. They will always be less than 15 minutes, but the content that's included is really important, and you need to make sure that you watch them every single week. All right? Hope you have a great start to the first unit, and we will see you online.